Welcome back, everybody, to round number two. My name is Dr. Leo. I'm here with my homie Chaotic Bear, and we're here for another great round of Legacy Paper Magic. Can't complain. It's a beautiful day. How you doing, homie?
Doing fine. We have two decks in front of us here with zero Delvers between them. So
Yeah. Last round, Oliver hit it right. Delver go Burr. Delver kind of just did Delver things, and as you saw, like did it really well. Te- uh, Sensei, it happens, dude. That's what Delver does now, and that's the reason why there's all these questions about of just like how much of this is gonna go until the last straw that breaks the camel back. Like it was Ragavan the monkey that broke the camel's back.
yeah, I think that either we see the meta shift to other fast decks or people just respecting removal more because you can ignore a turn one Delver for several turns and it's just damage you're taking. But if you ignore a turn one Monkey, then you're losing cards and mana and damage and everything. So
Yeah, and that's what Pickle Plop's trying to do is just straight up black red reanimator going to
Mhm.
just try and ignore the Delver esque strategy of Blue White Stoneblade.
Yeah,
So
he's saying, all right, if you want to flip a Gristlebrand off the top of my deck, then yeah, let's see you cast it.
yeah, so I really like this not this blue, this red black reanimator list because this is a blast from the blast because this is basically my red black reanimator list from like 2016, 2017. I think it was when I was playing it. It's got the Sire of Insanity in there, for red black. At the beginning of your end step, each player discards his or her hand. My favorite thing to do back to Miracles players back in the day.
Playing up against a turn one Siren Insanity is, especially on the draw, is the one of the most frustrating things that can happen in Magic.
Oh, it is so funny because it's like, okay,
Ooh.
cool. Do all this stuff, put Siren Sanity on the board. Uh Go to end step, just like, oh shit. It's just
Yeah.
like, you got the removal spell? Nope. Okay, bye.
If you haven't ever been sired before, each player discards their hand, which means if you're on the draw, you don't discard the end of your turn. You just discard every turn, which means you never play anything unless you top deck a land.
And it's also the 4 Cabal Therapy version of this deck.
Mm.
Be still my beating heart. I am pretty sure this is the exact list that got me into playing Legacy like so long ago. Oh my god. This is this list is just giving me the willies.
Yeah, I know the sideboard slots kind of flex around depending on whether you're. We're on Serenity and Shenanigans here, and Wear Tear.
Er,
I've also seen some decks that run Reverent Silence, some decks that run. What is the? There's one that.
is the
there's-
newest card in this list Shenanigans?
Yeah, I think it is honestly,
Oh my
um,
gosh, the newest card in this
which is
list is
great.
Okay,
Um,
so who's on the play here? Sorry, I was going down
oh no
memory
worries.
lane.
Mr. Jack's X was on the playable. He just started off with a basic island, and now we're seeing Pickle Plop with this turn one ritual Entomb. If Mr. Jack Dex has a counter spell, I always love going for the enabler here rather than the reanimation spell.
Yes. Because once it's in the yard, there's more spells that bring it out of the yard than put it into the yard.
Yeah,
So I am right there with you. I would have, if I had the Force Will, I'd go on the Entomb as well.
yeah. It also helps for sideboarded games. I don't know how much people care about this generic strategy advice, but there's a reanimate for it. If you
Oh,
counter the entomb, then you can also hit the creature with a surgical. If they do ever get it in there, it slows them down more. But we do see the turn one Gristlebrand with no answer for Mr. Deck Dex here.
that that is
And
in fact a turn 1 Grizzle Daddy, and
yeah,
the entire plan of, put Grizzlebrand turn 1 and then put another fatty onto the board is in effect here. The OG before the days of Oko and stuff like that. This is how I was playing Red Black Reanimator back in the day. Reanimator go burr! Yes! Oh,
yeah.
I love
People used
this.
to mess around with all these cantrips and everything, but it turns out if you just play, 8 copies of every way you have to enable the combo, then you'll find it eventually. So,
Mr. Jack's stone cold flicking
yeah.
cards.
Um, oh, actually, I'm sorry. 12 ways to do it, not 8. I'm sorry. I didn't give Pickle any credit here.
Okay, so we got an unmask. Oh, targeting self.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Jackass isn't gonna like this. Whenever we see an exhume here to get the Chancellor out also. Mr.
Oh,
Jackass might
yeah.
not cast another spell this game.
Yep. Swords cost 2 mana.
Yep. You gotta do it if you
Oh,
got it. Um,
this is a perfect example of why Force of Will exists in the format.
yeah. This
So, like,
is
needs to happen.
it's funny. All these people always complain about, Legacy is a turn one format. Whatever. The early game is just shuffling up in Legacy, and I'm always very careful to tell them like, oh no, no, we have plenty of games that drag on until turn 20 or 30. But like, yes, this also does exist.
This also does happen. This is
Yeah.
also something that can happen every once in a while, and, Black Red Reanimator was definitely the deck that was designed to do that the most
Mhm.
consistently. When you talk about the fastest version, the, Ferrari, if you will, of the, Match the Gathering. Oh, is that just a Ponder cast and
Yeah.
not
That's a ponder, no tax.
Oh, wait, did Pickle Plop reveal the Chancellor at the beginning of the,
Now Chancellor happens every turn when it's out, rather than
Oh,
just the first spell
Pickle
of the game.
okay, no, so, yeah, Pickle did reveal Chancellor, and so, because of the fact that Mr. Jack Dex went turn 1 island go, probably didn't want to throw that
Oh,
ponder
gotcha.
into there. Yeah, exactly, but you could still pay 1 if you had a Force of Will, so it's not like didn't have that, but, like, this is harsh. This is
That's fair. I mean, playing against Reanimator, whenever you see the turn one Chancellor, like you immediately know what deck you're playing against, and you say like, "Oh crap, I didn't keep a Force of Will."
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
if I
Like,
don't have
"Oh, I'll
Force of
keep
Will in my
this."
hand, depending on what's in my hand, I might just throw the Ponder out turn one and eat the Chancellor trigger, um, because that opens me up on turn two to be able to play things. You don't get a lot of time, so
Yep, and I think, this is the point where you just concede to the Cabal Therapy, hide the information.
yep, and that's what we see here.
Yep.
We didn't see any defining cards from Mr. Jack Dex that would tell Pickle Plop what he's playing. A lot of decks run basic island and ponder. So
Yeah, and also showing the source of plowshares is not the biggest ordeal because if you're running island plains, you're most likely running swords to plowshares. So there's definitely the hidden information that this is a Stoneforge Mystic based deck. So that is has one advantage as Mr. Jack Dax has. So speaking of which, let's go to the sideboard.
here, since you have played more Reanimator, I'm going to let you go over the sideboard there. And since I'm a bit of a Stoneblade aficionado at some point in my life, I'll take a look at that if that works.
All right, so for the Reanimator sideboard, we got one Archetype of Endurance, one Elish Norn, one Iona Shield of Emeria, one Magus of the Moon, two Serenity, one Coffin Purge, three Pyroblast, four Wear and Tear, and one Shenanigans, which once again is the newest card of the deck. So personally, I do like the archetype of endurance because that card is always good when you're going to be playing against anything that's Swords to Plowshares base, as well as the fact that it is super chunky. A 6/5 with hexproof and gives all your other things hexproof is massive.
Don't forget, it takes it away from Mr. Jack Dex's creatures.
Yes, it also does, which doesn't
Like,
really matter, but, like, yeah,
yeah.
it's still, like, a very solid, protection for the Grizzle Daddy. Now, you also have to play the game of just, like, okay, what's gonna be their sideboard hate? You know that this is gonna be a Force of Will deck, so Pyroblast is never a bad bring in, but I I don't know if you wanna go hard into the Serenities or the Wear and Tears. Like, I don't know. No, you didn't see enough, and because the fact that you didn't see enough, like, I don't know. Oh, if we have any other, Reanimator players that have played the deck recently, please chime in into what you think that, like, the take-ins and takeouts would be, but, tell me about this Stoneblade plan.
Yeah, I kind of just always assume rip if I'm playing against a white deck here. But Mr. Jack Dex has one Fluster, one Hydroblast, one Path, two Pyroblast, one Red Blast of his own, one Surgical, one Containment Priest, one Disenchant, a Rest in Peace, a Back to Basics, one Council Judgment, one Vendilion Click. Um, I mean, obviously there are some cards here like the Rest in Peace and the Containment Priest, and the Surgical that are all slam dunks. I'm going to move this over here so I can actually look at the camera while I say this. Um, there are a couple other cards that I am always tempted to bring in if I can find room for them. Disenchant is a little bit narrow, but it does answer cards like Serenity and Animate Dead out of your opponent if they're playing those cards. Council Judgment is a slow but very versatile answer to all of your opponent's fatties, and Flusterstorm can help against starts like we saw last game, where there's, Dark Ritual into Entomb. You can just immediately stop the whole chain there, and they can't continue any further, which is nice. And Path to Exile is an extra removal spell. As far as cards to bring out, Spell Snare does have targets in the deck, but I don't particularly love it here. Um, you can also get rid of maybe some of your top end planeswalkers like Jace the Mind Sculptor Teferi aren't great in this matchup, and just sort of like rely on the control and the beatdown plan, or sorry, the permission and the beatdown plan. I probably also take out Prismatic Ending here as well. You can technically tag an Animate Dead with it, like I mentioned, but it's I don't think it's at its best in this matchup
I
here.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
Prismatic Ending is a solid cut.
yeah.
Back to Basics is always one of those cards that, like, kind of is a trap for me because I do see how many duels, Red Black Reanimator runs. The
Mhm.
thing is, it also runs Lotus Petals, it also runs Dark Rituals. The deck is fast, and
Yeah.
it doesn't care about the back to basics.
It also runs 3 basic swamps, so as soon as they find like, they need exactly 1 land to function. I think that I think Back to Basics is a trap. You can't land it early enough for it to matter, and
Yeah,
they only have to
exactly.
resolve a couple spells. Um,
Exactly. I
so,
fully agree. You know what? I don't even hate cutting Snapcaster in that sense. It's slow. And what are you gonna be snapping back in this?
I leave the Snapcasters in just because I can, snap Plow if they get a second creature out, or you can actually I've, snap Surgical'd someone again on Reanimator, and they do not like it when you do that. But
Yeah,
you're
I
right. It's slow. You gotta get all your expensive stuff out and just like stop them, and then find a way to win.
yep. So we do see Mr. Jax here, starting with the turn one ponder, standard stuff for blue deck. Let's see how fast Pickle Plop's willing to go. Oh, nope, not finding the yep. Does not want to expose to wasteland. I so here's my question for you. You see blue white. Do you think that your opponent would be playing wasteland?
I think that it is unlikely for them to be leaning on Wasteland. I think it's possible if they run a couple. There's definitely like blue white Delver Blade is I think seeing some more popularity than it used to.
Like because of
And they're
Cauldra.
sorry.
Probably because of Cauldra. Like, Cauldra
Oh
is,
yeah, yeah,
pretty
yeah. I
great.
know that Stoneblade in general, all Stoneblade variants in general are on the rise, and um, blue white Delver Blade is a strategy that's fun to play. Um,
I 100% agree. It's it's really wild when you look at the price of Stoneforge Mystics as well lately. Those have risen massively.
oh yeah, yeah. They're back to like where they were right after being unbanned in modern.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, ooh, OG Brainstorm tokens.
Nice limited edition. Missed your shots. Just kidding.
I
So this
mean,
is a brainstorm.
you can't get the Brainstorm token, but you can get these awesome, crop rotation tokens. What?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have one to show the class, or are you just talking?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I, have a couple on my desk right now, and, they are gorgeous.
So a timing from Pickle Plop here, we did see the Mr. Jack X cast Ponder into the Chancellor turn one, then Ponder, then Brainstorm. He's really digging. So Pickle Plop took the opportunity to entomb in response um,
Yeah.
to the Brainstorm. I'm. It looks like we got a Gristlebrand. I mean, that's standard, but I can see it
That
just peeking out under the entomb there.
that's pretty standard stuff. What are those basics that Pickle Plop has? I
I
don't
think they're
recognize.
Mercadian masks, but I'm not entirely
Ooh.
sure. They're either Mercadian masks or Odyssey. You know, what, I don't.
So
We found the Exhume. Did
so we
Mr.
are
Jack
seeing
X
a
find the
force
force?
pitching Jace the Mind Sculptor. So oh, I mean, that's solid pitch. Jace in this matchup is the default, well, it's a blue card that pitches the Force of Will. You are not gonna win through Jace in this matchup.
It's masks 340, by the way, if you needed that.
Mass 340?
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate you. You
No
know all
worries.
the basics, dude.
No, no,
Like,
I just grabbed the black binder for the black lands, and, I'll put it back where it goes.
oh my gosh, I am so impressed. Like, you're,
It's
way more
I
effort.
yeah. So we see Snap on the brainstorm here. So Snapcaster's staying in the match. We're digging. So we had a force
Yeah,
for the Exhume. Can we find a force for the Reanimate?
force, a surgical,
We are not.
ooh, no. And we don't even have a
So
white land either for swords.
no, I mean he'll get a turn here because Pickle Plop doesn't have a way to give it haste or anything.
Yeah, but, I
But
mean, we're talking about, like, a possibility that Pickle Plop is gonna slam, another fatty onto the board, and especially with, like, an archetype of endurance possibly in the deck now,
oh
like,
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, it doesn't mean that I don't think we're dead this turn, but it's very hard to come back from a Gristlebrand. Like a creature that's not actively killing you at this very second, getting to draw 7 to 14 cards of it off of it just makes it very difficult.
oh, yeah, it's very, very good.
So
So
Faithless Looting, he casts it off a swamp. Oh no, off the pedal.
off the pedal.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a Chancellor, just like last game. Um, yeah, you have to imagine if you draw 7 cards here, you probably found another fatty, found a way to
Hold
get it into
on.
the bin.
I think Pickle Plop should be at, 4 life because paid 7 and the reanimate to hit for 8.
Oh yeah, he did reanimate. You're right.
Yeah, 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 hold
We
on,
got to
let's
check
get
with our
the
table spotter here so he doesn't pay too much life. Um, while Dr. Leo is going to do that
yep,
for us, just chatting with Asher. Thanks again for table spotting for us and getting confirmation from her.
yep, 19 to 4, 19 to
Yep,
4 for life totals.
nice
Mr.
catch
Jack
there.
Dax just hasn't updated his.
Doesn't Grizzle Rand cost 8? Shouldn't he be at 3
Yeah,
then? Yeah, we'll double check with our table spotter there. I think it's just been one fetch, one reanimate, one draw 7, which adds up to yeah. I'm not sure what the other. Seems like they were off by 1 already. Um, but not a big deal here. Of course, going to get all that ironed out. So Pickle Plop had the Cabal therapy for Mr. Jack Jack's
16,
going to crack that fetch.
16. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, it should be do we have double fetch? Oh, we have double fetch. Okay, so
Well, we have
now
double fetch now, but one fetch, 1 plus 7 plus 8. Oh, never mind. You were right the first time.
yeah,
Just kidding,
so it should
everyone. I
be
can do math.
so sorry.
Um, Cabal
Yep.
therapy on the stack there. Naming sword supply shares makes sense, but did not find one. Oh my goodness, Mr. Jack Jax has all the brainstorms. Hopefully, can find all the swords supply shares. Hopefully, Pickle Plop, obviously reloaded to this point, has another fatty in the bin.
Yeah. And, did that Cobalt Therapy reveal what did we reveal for the hand?
I think we were too busy dealing with the life totals. I didn't actually get a good look at the hand.
Name swords, yeah,
Um,
reveals Path to Exile and Brainstorm. So there's a Path to
oh,
Exile in
thank you.
hand. The problem is there's no white source. So we have no white source in order to support the Path to Exile. And Koila, Zoila, I never know how to pronounce the K, the X sometimes. Times, welcome. We'd like our international community. Try to bring legacy all around the world.
Yep. We actually just got all of our pools assigned for our July league today, and they're I'd say about half of our players are outside the US total for that. We have a ton of international players. I'm rounding up just a little bit. Um,
Yep.
so Mr. Jack Jax does not find the white source. We'll see a 14-point life swing here between the two players. Pickle Plop will get the chance to draw another 7 if he wants them.
Yeah, exactly. I think we I think right now, yeah, okay, we're going for an entomb. Oh, 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 you know what's better than a
Oh
single
no.
unmask? A multi-turn unmask.
Oh no. And
Oh,
he knows that Mr. Jackdax has the path in hand. He knows that he didn't find a white source off that brainstorm. Um,
oh, oh, hoo, 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 hoo. Oh, don't need to pay that. Oh, and Jack Dex is brainstorm locked? Oof.
yeah. I can't imagine we're gonna Mr. Jackdax can't sit on this for too long, I don't think, before realizing
No,
because this is just lethal next turn. I
this
guess
is
he can block
lethal
with
next turn.
Snapcaster.
Oh, you can block with Snapcaster, but I mean it's still like Grizzlebrand coming in. Oh, oh, that is
Oh my goodness, and he found the
brutal.
swords. Oh, he had 4 snow blue card in there. Oh my
Yeah, no
goodness.
force, no blue card.
This
Oh,
is very unfortunate, Mr. Jackdax. Like, when I played Stoneblade, I thought that my Reanimator
hold on,
matchup was favorable, but
hold on. Each end step. Ah, I knew this was gonna
yeah,
happen.
yep, we are
This is brutal.
seeing a block there on the sire, like we mentioned. Well, reminding Mr. Jackdax to pitch that card, like we mentioned, Sire of Insanity is each turn, uh,
Yeah,
because
that's
red and black say, "Go away, blue."
yeah, yeah. It's each end step. It's so bad.
That was a
Oh,
Stoneforge you couldn't even cast. Oh my
oh, it's a
goodness.
Stoneforge.
Uh,
Oh, oh, just
I
lack of
gotta root
white.
for my fellow mod, but man, that is a terrible luck off the top there.
Oh, that's brutal. Oh, and oh wow, yeah. So the Snapcaster blocks. Go. Jack Dex goes down to 5. Hey, we've got Grizzle Daddy. So the thing is, got to empty the hand this turn because the fact that anything that's left in hand is going to get discarded. I mean, you don't really care because you're playing Reanimator and then discarding your hand. Who cares? But
Yeah.
it's at the same time that like there are some cards that you do occasionally want to keep in hand.
Yeah, there's not even an out like I was seeing Mr. Jack say he had found his land drops. Supreme Verdict would be great here, but he doesn't have single white, let alone double white. And he can't draw that and the lands in the same turn. So
Yeah, exactly. I think the lack of white mana has been pretty hurtful, and that's the thing is Jax hasn't seen a fetch land this entire game. Those are just been all raw drawn lands that have been just kind of stuck with, and sometimes that's what happens. If you're playing especially a 2 to 3 color deck, sometimes you draw the one that you don't want to see, and
yeah, I think Mr. Jack is letting us play it out here. I mean, I can't think of a single out that he has in his whole 75 that he can access off one card.
oh, I
Um,
got one. I got one. Council's judgment, and your opponent votes wrong.
there you go. Well, Path to Exile with no white source number
Ooh.
2 is probably not ideal.
Oh, that just hurts. Oh,
I
yeah,
have to
and
imagine that Mr. Jack is going to go have a beer or two and watch the third match with us, hopefully, because
yeah.
that was a much worse showing than it had to be. He got kind of lucky there, and Pickle Plop played the game well. Played to his played around Mr. Jack counter magic, overloaded it when necessary, just
Oh,
kept plowing
wow.
through.
6
Um,
cards down was the next white source. Yeah, no fetch lands the entire game. And this is
uh,
this is why people say reprint fetch lands because it's so important for these formats to be able to find your colors. Like that's so good. So Coil basically, Mr. Jack Dex was giving Pickle Block time with the Grizzle Dad to see if find an out, and basically with the Siren standing on the board each turn, each player has to discard their hand on end step. So nobody had hands, 2 big creatures on the board, and red black reanimator taking the day.
yeah,
So
quick two out there.
so we're gonna take a short break and we'll be back for round number 3 in just a second.
Yep.
Oh, Cathor,
Thanks to
thank you for
resub,
the resub.
Cathora.